Our first exercise in claiming our spiritual identity begins with Gurudeva's first sloka from Dancing with Shiva. Rishis proclaim that we are not our body, mind, or emotions. We are divine souls on a wondrous journey. We came from God, live in God, and are revolving into oneness with God. We are in truth, the truth we seek. This verse takes the approach of focusing on what we are not, in order to lessen our attachment to these aspects of our outer nature. Gurudeva describes this approach in the following way. Most people do not understand that they have a mind, that they have a body and emotions, that what they are is something far more lasting and profound. They think they are a mind, they presume they are a body, and they feel they are a given set of emotions, positive and negative. To progress on the spiritual path, they must learn that they are not these things, but are, in fact, a radiant, conscious soul that never dies, that can control the mind and directs the emotion toward fulfillment of dharma and resolution of karma. While living in a normal, agitated state of fears, worries, and doubts, seeing the deeper truths is impossible. To such a person, there is no doubt about it. I am fearful. I am worried. I am confused. I am sick. He says such things daily, thinking of himself in a very limited way. Let's look first at the body. The modern secular world is constantly telling us we are the body. A great deal of this message comes through the media, including advertising. We are taught to idolize movie stars, and of course the actresses are all beautiful and the actors handsome, otherwise they wouldn't be movie stars. Advertisements for clothing, beauty products, and weight loss programs tell us the many ways you, meaning the body, can be more beautiful or handsome. What we read about health and aging also helps convince us that we are the body. We learn about the many illnesses that make us sick and about the aging process through which we become old. Of course, the spiritual point of view is that we have a body rather than we are the body. The problem of thinking we are the body is that we put too much of our time into worrying about it, into trying to hide the aging process, for example. And the fact we are aging can be somewhat depressing. We would prefer to stay young forever. Also, not being as beautiful or handsome as the idolized movie stars can also make one feel inferior or frustrated. Second, let's look at the mind, specifically the intellect. Modern schools develop the intellectual mind, our ability to think and reason, which is quite important. However, because modern education is totally secular, there is no reference to the soul or a sense of the need for the intellect to be a tool of the soul. Thus the intellect itself is extolled as our highest ability. I know a number of university graduates who have acquired the attitude of always trying to outthink or outdebate you. It has become a way of life and reflects the belief that they are their intellectual mind. The spiritual point of view is we have an intellect rather than we are the intellect. The problem with thinking we are the intellect is that we are cut off from our deeper identity with our soul and its intuitive abilities. As Gurudeva says in his book Cognizant Ability, the intellect is the greatest barrier to the superconscious. Being cut off from a deeper spiritual identity can also be a cause of depression and negativity. Third, let's look at our emotions. We do not have to go to school to acquire the idea that we are our emotions. We learn this perspective from observing our parents and other adults who act in ways that show us they believe they are their emotions. This perspective stays with us unless we are taught otherwise. We are also not taught that we can control the emotions. Therefore, when life brings us positive experiences, we are happy. When life brings us difficult experiences, we are unhappy. And the idea that we could change unhappiness into happiness through spiritual practices, such as meditation, never occurs to us. The idea that we could overcome our tendency to quickly anger never occurs to us. The spiritual point of view is we have emotions rather than we are the emotions. The problem with thinking we are the emotions is that our life is always getting disturbed by them. We swing from up to down in mood, being calm to fiery. All this emotional activity completely covers up and obscures our soul nature from us. Emotional control, which comes from realizing I am not my emotions, rather my emotions are something I can control, is required to identify with the soul and make steady spiritual progress. Here is a quote from Yogaswami to summarize what we have presented in this exercise. You are not the body, you are not the mind, nor the intellect, nor the will. You are the Atma. The Atma is eternal. This is the conclusion at which great souls have arrived from their experience. Let this truth become well impressed on your mind. But there is one thing to which you must give attention. Never swerve from the path of Dharma. Let it be your practice to regard every life as the holy presence of God. He is both within and without. As you wander, be detached from your body, mind, and emotions. When you find yourself thinking, I am hungry, or I am thirsty, rephrase and think, my body is hungry or thirsty. When you find yourself thinking, I understand or don't understand certain points in the lesson, rephrase, my intellect understands or doesn't understand. When you claim an emotional identity, I am certainly happy this morning, or I am a bit depressed this morning, again rephrase, my emotions are happy or a bit depressed.